Hello everybody, Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News. In today's video, we asked the question, did Michelle Young ghost her podcast? People are asking, Michelle won't be on Bachelor Happy Hour tomorrow again. Serena Pitt is guest co-hosting. What is going on? And look, we're going to look into this. I mean, there's for sure a story here. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes bonus content going live at 10 a.m. today. And if you want more vlogs, we got them for you, baby. The Christmas-themed vlogs all day long. Here's one of them for you. We went to a German Christmas restaurant in New York City. And it's pretty fascinating, guys. I mean, if you enjoy, Wiener Schnitzels and fun. Who doesn't, folks? Either way, all of the Central Park life that we have out there, you can go see our exploits, me and my wife, and, the lens we see the world through. That's on the vlogs, link at the end here. All right, let's get into this story. It was posted. Michelle won't be on Bachelor Happy Hour tomorrow. What's going on? What's going on in the world today? All of Bachelor podcasts are ending. Chatty Broads, done. Talking It Out, done. Where's Michelle? We don't know. She hasn't been on since November 8th. This is probably a six-figure contract, a big deal. I think I have the answer. I'm speculating, but I think I know what it is. And I don't blame Michelle. Civil disobedience, deciding to boycott. Maybe there's an HR issue. She stormed off the set when the show didn't properly give any airtime to the blackface scandal, and that happened just a couple months ago. Now, Michelle's done a few other events with Bachelor Nation. Contractually, she's been there when needed, but has she reached her tipping point in not wanting to deal with the malarkey that is the Bachelor, BS? So she's sort of, and I'm not saying that the audience has turned on her. I don't think they should, but there is a critical eye that looks at her, as they do, as the audience does with every lead. It's almost like Michelle got off a little bit better than Katie Thurston and some other former leads, Caitlin Bristow, because she is so likable, nice, and non-controversial. But people were saying, hey, have you still been donating money to charity? Because she said she would. I mean, she can do what she wants with their money. And of course, I think it's a little suspect that we're like wondering what a contestant is doing with their money. But she's responded to the haters and said she's keeping her word. She's just not sharing it. And she's been under fire. People are saying, are you still teaching? She's not. She took a hiatus. And, people are, it's like, it's a lot for us, for what someone who has been not in the public eye to deal with, like random people wondering what you're up to. And then, of course, this video got nearly 100,000 views. Michelle spills secrets. She shared some information about how she feels regarding her ex, which was the first time we've seen her get into sort of the quasi-petty, parallel conversations about, relationships. Because up to that point, it was her and Nate broke up, and that was pretty much it. And now she's like, oh, we're going to bring Brandon into it. Another favorite. Here's what she had to say about criticizing producers for lack of conversation regarding blackface. This might be it. This might be the initial fallout, which was 2 months ago. That led to her being like, you know what? Why am I putting my time and energy into a show, the podcast, when the producers clearly don't really care about having these difficult conversations? Michelle spoke to producers right after the show. We're going to get into what she had to say. Here's how it all started. She made this statement on her Instagram story, and then we'll play her added audio.
Hello, you all. I'm just coming on here to give you...
By the way, I love the entrance. Hello, you all. I'm going to start... Hello, you all. Hello, you
update. Becca and I filmed an additional segment to Bachelor Happy Hour this week where it addresses our finale with Gabby and Rachel and how blackface was not addressed. I spoke about how I excused myself from the stage, the conversation that happened directly after with executive producers because of this segment of blackface controversy that was not spoken about.
Okay, so let's just play it. Here it is.
Becca, I think you and I, walking into last night's episode, I think we knew a lot. We knew, just kind of, we had talked to Gabby and Rachel about everything that had gone on, and we knew that it was kind of going to just be a tough episode regardless without, this other racism controversy on top of it. And I think I know that I'm still processing it, but, we're sitting side by side during this live show thinking that, that this is going to be something that's talked about, and I come straight from Matt James season, which was all about racial controversy and, you know, the change within the franchise that needs to be made and that is going to be made. And so, you know,
now, of course, we've already discussed this at length, but there she was in the audience, you know, dedicated her time, probably took a COVID test, spent the day getting ready, hair and makeup, waiting for this conversation, has her talking points ready to go, and then it doesn't happen. I used to get so upset when I would get on my, this is a weird comparison, but on my baseball team, when I'd get warmed up in the bullpen to come in as a pitcher and then they wouldn't call on me. I'd get all amped up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do. And then all of a sudden, nothing. Now, again, not to relate my stupid sports analogy to Michelle, but there she is, like, ready to talk, ready to, you know, all these thoughts she has, and here's the platform, and we're going to go, and then it doesn't happen. And to make insult to injury, what I find even more insulting is that rather than have the conversation on air, they decided to do it on the podcasts that are already sort of left-leaning and progressive. The podcasting world is a different demographic of Bachelor Nation than the world that watches the show. The world that just watches the show definitely leans more right. It does. It skews to an older audience that's doesn't have a lot of the same progressive values that some people on the podcast have. That's just a fact. So for the show to play both sides of the coin, it's insulting. It's grifting because they're trying to placate one side, but also not turn away the other. And it's like, look, either have the difficult conversation or don't. Don't have the difficult conversation in one corner of the house. And then in the other corner of the house, say, oh, everything's perfectly fine. The house is not in order. And Michelle doesn't want to be a part of it. Again, these are just my theories as to why she hasn't been on the show since November 8th. You can make any number of excuses as to why someone's not on the show for 1 week or another. They literally Zoom the show. They're flexible. She doesn't have a full-time job anymore. There's literally no reason for her other than hopefully all health is fine for her to be taking this long off the show, a show that pays really well. So assuming it has to do with something kind of serious like that, it kind of sucks to be in her position because on one end, she quit her teaching job to take a higher paying podcasting job, which comes with influencer deals and all these other things. But it's also not panning out probably the way she wanted it to. Kind of similar but different because it's for different reasons. But Clayton spoke yesterday on Jason Tartick's podcast that he was told he was going to have these crazy influencer deals and make all this extra money. He goes, I don't know. It ain't really worth it to me. I just had to deal with a lot of hate. Michelle obviously dealing with something completely different. But in both cases, they're not like, hey, I'm not selling wine and I'm not a fan favorite. And if I'm outspoken or criticized, it's just a tough place to be in. Now, as far as the chemistry between Becca and Michelle, it wasn't good. It wasn't good chemistry. Let's see if we have any other information from them actually having the discussion here. But it's the challenge. Like, I've been critical of Michelle, but I've also been critical of Becca. I've been critical of all of these Bachelor podcasts because they do them over Zoom. It's very easy to check out, and it takes away the heart and soul of what podcasting should be, which is in-person, deep, great conversations that make you feel like you're sitting on the couch next to them. With this, you feel like you're in a Zoom meeting.
There's no excuse of we didn't have enough time, because that's your statement with how you view this community then. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was forgotten, or it was not just like it crossed nobody's mind, or it was intentionally, pushed off. Whatever the reason is, for me, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Because you're still feeling the exact same way. You are still completely not acknowledging this entire community of people. And I'm sure she's had private conversations with Rachel Lindsay, because I have. And if Rachel's talking to someone like me, she's going to be talking to higher ups like Michelle. But I've talked to Rachel about trying to get it right, trying to understand what people are saying behind the scenes regarding these topics, because it's a delicate line that has to be walked to criticize the show while also being under the payroll. And ideally, the only way for your true free speech, not constitutional free speech, but your true, free, authentic speech is to not be taking money from the people that you are railing against, because you're still going to have some sort of employee-employer relationship bias. To be truly cut-free the way Rachel Lindsay is, the way certain contestants that are no longer with the show, that is where you get their true opinion. Could it be that Michelle's true opinion right now is being silenced because she's still under contract?
Not really sure. But we'll have to see what happens. Could it be something completely different? Yeah, I don't think it is. She hasn't been posting much on social media, and we have nothing to really go on to think of another reason why she may, not be, thriving on the podcast. She did an interview 2 days ago called Bachelorette alum Michelle Young says she really did the work to heal after Nate split. She said, I really did the work early on, and it's a lot when so much is going on outside of you. You have to heal, otherwise you're going to constantly, your emotions depend on what is happening. I don't know what that means. It's really weird because, you sit down and you're like, okay, so are we getting married in 2 weeks? Should we talk about our favorite colors? It's just a really weird balance between the Bachelor world. It's so quick. It's been going well. So, in this article 2 days ago, she said things are going well and she's completely over that relationship. So let's throw that out the window for causes as to why she may be missing. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to know your opinion on the matter. I know the best way to overcome adversity is to talk things out. And if she and Becca are not talking things out on the podcast, I hope that Michelle goes elsewhere. Caitlin Bristow, Rachel Lindsay's Higher Learning podcast. Really go out there and have the conversation. Sunlight is the greatest disinfectant, and we really love to hear their thoughts on matters that affect our community within Bachelor Nation. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be live on Patreon right after this, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Link in the comment section for that. Also, check out the Vlogmas. You can click right there. There'll be a link that pops up to go watch today's Vlogmas episode in New York City. And also, if you haven't been a part of it, go to Dave Neal's community on Facebook, and I've got our Single Mom of the Day over there, and you can click the link, and that'll donate to our Single Moms Christmas wish list. We're going to be doing a dozen of those, so I appreciate everyone's generosity in advance. We'll see you right after this.